get used to these settings. I have no idea how this stuff works. Nope, nope, nope. Not even in the least. So you'll have to excuse me if you tuned in right about now, because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I don't do well with this. Oh well. You'll just have to poke me in the comments if something's off. I have no idea. I'm just gonna have some background music playing because I suck at small talk. And, yeah. Where'd my pen go? God. If only people realize just how many times an artist probably says that every day. Come here. Where's my gold now? I am very unprepared. If you ever want to tune in for any of my streams, come 5 minutes late. It's gonna probably be in your best interest because I don't have my shit together at all. Not even in the least. I mean, this is horrible. I'm really trying to figure out where the heck my crap is. Okay, I found it. Alright. Come on. Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm still trying to get used to my new tablet, which is always fun. It's really different for me because I'm not used to having a screen tablet, which is surprisingly more painful to sketch on for me, probably because I'm used to something that requires me to stare at my computer screen, which is just about 100% different than what I have to do now. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite happy to have it. I enjoy it. It's really great for frickin' doing line arts, but outside of that, I'm still getting used to everything. But that's all part of the learning process, I guess. Messy sketches. Y'all are starting to see why I don't usually draw those live. Especially when I haven't fully decided what I'm going to draw. I mean, I have this prompt, but 90% of the time me sketching is 6 different ideas and then me picking one to finally work on. And saving the others because I'm a hoarder. I'm not even afraid to say it, I'm a freaking hoarder. I've been hoarding art supplies for years, for God's sakes. Still got my old tablet. Still a very strange person, I'm sure. Don't know if I'm feeling that one. Let's put it over there, save it. Smooth and fluid lines. That is not what you're ever gonna see from me. Nope. Never gonna see graceful sleeping either. But let's just be honest here. Who actually sleeps gracefully? I don't care what Sleeping Beauty had, or how the heck Disney decided to place her. No one sleeps gracefully. Sleep is not a beautiful to look at thing. It is a horrible, horrible monstrosity, which is why women tend to spend forever when they first wake up trying to get ready, or at least that's what most seem to do. I don't. If you know me in real life, you know I don't. I have never spent much time on my appearance. I spend more time on my character's appearance than I do my own. Which should really say something about me, but I just don't give a crap sometimes. Feel free to talk too, because I suck at small talk anyway. I really suck at it. People offer these things colored for money, and I struggle just to get a basic sketch down. I guess it's all part of the details. Oh, man, I'm just sitting here thinking how it would feel for Draenei to sleep in a human-sized bed. I sleep in a freaking twin-sized bed. Well, I sleep on a box spring, really, if you want the honest truth, but just from their sheer size alone, God, that would have to be painful. Like sleeping in a gnome's bed. Just super tiny and tight, and there is no graceful way to sleep on a bed that is half your size. I don't like the leg like that. I'll worry about fleshing it out better later. Ugh. I hate doing goat legs. Love drawing Draenei, love my character. Hate the freaking legs. All the freaking extra joints and stuff. Look painful. Partially because I'm human, I don't have those, and this is just awkward angles for someone's legs and feet to be at, but I guess it wouldn't be for someone with actual goat legs. For me, it just looks so freaking painful. I think I like this one. I'm just gonna cover most of it with a blanket anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just gotta have the general shape about right. Sometime after this, I'm probably gonna have to go adjust my pen pressure. It's not picking up all my strokes. That's always fun. Question to anyone who is an artist or maybe just has experience with this tablet. I have a Huion and I'm having issues with it constantly losing my pen pressure after it's been left alone for a little while. I tried looking online, but oh my god, their support's not that great at all. I mean, it's just god awful if you want my honest opinion. A little better than Wacom's being right now, since they no longer support my old tablet because it's like 10 years old, which I guess is understandable, but at the same time, crap. Because I was having that issue with that one, but I think that's mainly because it's no longer supported. I'm trying to figure out if maybe it's just how I have it set up, or what. I think it has to do with the pin pressure, actually, because every time I open the pin pressure thing, it starts working right again. The only issue is sometimes the pin pressure thing will close itself out, meaning I lose completely all control all of a sudden, and that's kind of the issue I was having to begin with. So yeah. If anyone has any ideas on the whys, either from technical standpoint or experience, that's always going to be appreciated. Because the amount of experience I have with it's pretty limited. That's too close. Blah, 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 blah. Adds this, adds that. YouTube, why? Swear they even got ads on their own royalty-free music. Insane. At least I think it's YouTube, so I'm not completely sure. I have to check it back before I stop streaming so I can give them proper credit. It's just supposed to be some random commercial use available royalty-free music. And since I kind of suck at talking, I figured I should probably include that because my stream for National Coffee Day was kind of quiet because it was only like my second stream and I had no freaking idea what to talk about. None. Zip. Nada. I still have little to no clue. I'm just sort of rambling and rambling and rambling and rambling, and some poor soul is watching this. God help you. But I have a small following, but I'm gaining a following here, so it's... Some of you must enjoy my odd rambles and insanity. So, yay for me. At least I think yay for me. I hope yay for me. Question is, does Elfie have a cat? Honestly, if you know much about Elvie at all from my blog, she is very much still in progress of what all she is. In fact, Draecember has been really painful because Elvie has little to no lore. She is just a random Draenei that somehow ended up in our world at this point, because she does a lot of stuff that is modern. She is pretty much nothing but the persona I used for blogging, so she in a sense is me as a Draenei, but she has no real lore behind her. Over the years, she has apparently become a cosplayer, which has been really popular. So far, she's been Maleficent, she's been, Harley Quinn, and that stuff's real fun. I think as a character she does enjoy stuff like that. Getting to be a little something different. I know the other day for fight, I was sitting here thinking, what on earth would a freaking shaman from World of Warcraft fight in a modern theme? And the truth, the only thing I could think of was maybe like a brawl, a bar brawl. The only issue with that is, who the heck is gonna stand against someone who can shoot fucking lightning? To be quite honest, not many people. So, it was pretty much just a picture of her zapping some fucking moron who probably has something about her face tentacles. Why not? Because that seems like something that would happen. Especially with drunks, they're a little stupider at times. And yeah. I was pretty much just trying to think of stuff that would legitimately probably happen to a Draenei in this time of age, and that's pretty much where her character is coming from. Where all her lore is coming from and everything. It's actually kind of interesting to think about where would your character be if they were to somehow just show up in the what we know of as the modern world. How would they fit? How would they get by? Would it affect them? Would they be able to adjust? In this case, Elvie seems to have adjusted and enjoys her time in the real world. Which I guess is what matters most. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy a world where coffee can be made in under 5 minutes, even fancy ones, without the need to start a fire? To those wondering, I do not do well at background, so yeah. Which is why I don't charge all that much to add them in my pieces, because I'm not offering the highest quality backgrounds. It honestly seems like when you're an artist, you are either really good at backgrounds or you are just, you struggle with them. There never seems to be an in-between for that. Which is really odd. I know this is crooked as can be, but you know what? I want to do it crooked. That's the one good thing about being an artist. Sometimes you can just say screw it and say, I just want it that way. I don't feel like fighting with perspective. I want a freaking crooked painting. Where up is down and down is up. It's freaking Wonderland, that's why. Blah, blah, blah. Let's erase some of these extra lines. I think another one of the issues I'm having with this tablet is it is literally 3 times the size of what I'm used to. Honestly, I have used one of the Wacom Intuos, one of the first ones actually they had. I didn't have much money, but that was both my Christmas and birthday for a couple years. But the tablet itself is like a 12 by 10, but the active space you have to draw on it is only like half that size, maybe an 8 by 6. Because again, one of the first ones, it had a lot of hardware and not so much to actually draw on. I had that tablet for almost 10 years, or right abouts. It got a lot of use and it still works. I could sell it as a working tablet, I really could, and it would not be a lie. I could still use it and plug it up and enjoy it still if I really want to, which is why I'm holding on to it, because if I put all my eggs in one basket and toss it, I will regret it. This expensive freaking tablet will break down, and I will actually have a shit ton of commissions that I have to work on and just be screwed, and I don't want that. As it is, I get a couple here and there, and it helps, it really does, but the second I get rid of that other tablet, I'm going to end up with a bunch of them, and ugh, that will suck. It would really suck. Especially since I don't have all that good of supplies to use for traditional. Because I mostly do digital, because honestly digital is easier and cheaper in the long run. Because I don't constantly have to go to a store, which any art store besides Walmart is about 2 hours away from me. There is no quickly running to the store for me. I live in a dead-end little town that doesn't have that stuff. So if I can't get it at Walmart, I can't get it at all in a pinch. And I'm actually surprised the Walmart close to me sells things like a Prismacolor. That is the highest brand they sell, is Prismacolor. Which is how I originally started using Prismacolor marker pens, because they sold those, but I found a much nicer set of those when I went to Michael's. Which is the closest one to me by a couple hours. And whatnot. Oh, I'm just going to set that pen down for just a second. Another issue with this tablet is the fact that I am not used to drawing on an angle. That is not something I'm used to doing. I've never had to draw at an angle before, because my original Wacom just sat flat, which was very different from the nice almost 90 to 180 degree that I can set this thing to. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to draw on something like this, but my wrist really cramps up a lot from doing it. I mean, just tons. Because I'm not used to drawing at an angle. I'm also not used to staring at a screen so bright and so close, because this thing is really high resolution. And, oh man, it hurts to stare at for too long. Especially when it's bright freaking white. So sometimes I'll just take it and I'll change the background color to something a little less blaring. Like an off gray, off white. Because it really does make a difference for me personally. I'm not really gonna line art any of this. I'm just gonna color in the sketch, because this is supposed to be done today, and I'd kind of like to get a piece out rather than miss my day, even though it's not the best. I know that's probably horrible to say, but I can always come back and work on it more later. It's not like this is a finished product for a company or a client. This is just something fun and to enjoy. And unlike Inktober, I can come back, undo, delete layers, do whatever pleases me. And that's really nice to be able to do, too, with digital. Because sometimes I feel really constrained when I work on traditional, because you have to work a little faster. There is no take your time, enjoy the process. Especially if it's something like inks or watercolors. It's more along the lines of hurry and get that shit done, or you're not going to be able to work on it anymore. Because once they dry, there's no picking it back up, there's no more doing anything besides layering on top of it and hoping you don't end up with a dark, pigmented horror fest. And when you're trying to teach yourself how to do everything, you can't work fast like you need to with all the mediums, which is why I mostly paint with acrylics. Because even though it dries fast, I can go back over it and the other color is disappearing under. Instead of with watercolors, where if I put down blue and decide I'd rather it be pink, that blue ain't coming up. I've heard of tricks where you can use magic eraser to help pull it up, but I have a feeling if I try to do that, I would tear through the paper. I think I just have the wrong sort of paper for it, honestly. Because it's not nice. It's a horrible, horrible mess of paper. And I'm not overly impressed with it. It's supposed to be watercolor paper. They call it high quality. I call it shit crap. Because you think with water paper you'd get less feathering than you would if you use something like a regular sheet of paper. I have got beautiful results out of sketchbook paper and well, drawing sketchbook paper, not just sketchbook, not just sketchbook mixed medium paper, and out of using copy paper, that much better than what I'm getting with this supposedly high quality paper for watercolors, which was really disappointing. I mean, I wet the paper a little bit like I would for any watercoloring stuff, and the paper is coming up. It feels more like I'm trying to draw on wet newspaper than... It's just not pleasant, and I will probably be looking at trying to get my money back for it. But I probably won't be able to. At least I got them on sale. May give them to my cousins to use for paper mache. Because I really think it's nothing but newspaper wadded up and then flattened out. It was not a happy purchase. And the pigments, it dulled the pigments horribly. Man, oh man. There goes the dogs. I wonder what they're barking at. Could be Mel. Probably Mel. So excuse the puppers in the background. Anytime you hear barking in anything I do, it's a good chance it's them. The neighbors have a pretty little pupper, but she doesn't usually do much for barking unless it's at night, in which case I think she's seeing probably some raccoons or possums running about. That are the kids cutting through yards, just being dummies and whatnot. You know, pretty much doing what kids do. I have hounds though, so the barking is just something you learn to live with, so if I don't say anything about it, it's because I just tuned it out. 100% tuned out. I'd be more concerned about what my dogs bark about, but they're just not. They bark, they're dogs, and that's about as far as I go with it. Ain't that right, big hoss? Yeah, see, that's right. We're just puppers, and we do what puppers do. We bark a little, we protect the house, we think we do good. Which is all fun and good unless it's Halloween. I've never seen a dog get more joy out of scaring the crap out of trick-or-treaters than our shepherd mix, River. One year, she actually sent some trick-or-treaters running for the hills because she decided it would be fun to hide just out of sight right next to the door and stare at them as they came up. And then when they were right on top of her and about to knock, she jumps up and starts barking her butt off and stares at them while they go running with her tail just a wagging. And man, could those kids run. Within 3 seconds before I could even get anywhere near the door, they had cleared our half-acre yard and were working their way through the next yard, thinking that this freaking horrible, evil little mutt was about to come get them. But it's all good. I gave them extra candy. They were perfectly pleased with that outcome. And because of this, we can't have nice things like having the trick-or-treaters come to the house anymore. Now we have to sit outside near the front by the road and give them their candy there so everyone can't enjoy it. Because someone was a butthole and decided to make game out of scaring the trick-or-treaters. But she was the only one who really took much of an interest in watching them to begin with, so I guess it's okay. The others lost interest when they found out they weren't going to be allowed to be petted. Because not everyone is an animal lover or wants to pet a large, bouncing animal. I think that's one of the hardest things for them to understand, though. Not everyone wants to love on you like Mommy does. And some humans are actually quite terrified of your barking, bouncing attitude. And they get so pitiful about it. Like, how dare the human not want to pet them and love on them and give them treats. River just has fits over the fact that they don't always pet her. The whole outing is ruined because one person did not pet her. I'm not even joking. I took her over to the local museum one day when I had to, when I agreed to work, and she was fine and happy all day, dragging me around, visiting with all the visitors, just happy as could be, until school got out and some kids came over and they didn't want to pet her. And when they refused to pet her, River's whole demeanor changed from happy-go-lucky, best day of my life, I want to come here every day, to take me home, you bastards, I hate it here. This took about maybe 3 seconds. All because they didn't pet her. She was so angry, and it was all my fault. Because clearly I told them don't pet her in her mind. And she was just so angry with me. It's not even my fault and I get blamed. Well, that's about how it feels to own some very, very, little assholes. I'm not even gonna try and hide it. They're little assholes. I get blamed for everything. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably read about this last night, but we're just sitting there, going for a car ride to take her somewhere nice to walk, and what does this little butthole do? Sit back there quietly? Well, that's actually very suspicious, because within 2 seconds of getting out of the driveway, I look back and know she's chewing on something. I think she's chewing on her harness because she hates wearing her harness, and tell her to stop, and she stops. I turn back around and notice that something isn't quite right about how short her leash has suddenly become. I'm actually quite right, because she actually tore through that chew-proof leash. A nice, expensive chew-proof leash, in less than 2 minutes, had been completely chewed through. Oh, I was ticked. We had just gotten that one just for her, because she has a bad habit of chewing on her frickin' leashes. And what does she do? She eats it. She freaking eats it. It's brand new and all that. She's going for a ride and she just wants to be free. She wants to run free like a little butthole so people will pet her, and because mommy is so horrible and won't let them pet her, and this is probably her actual logic too. I'm just a horrible human and I won't let anyone pet her. Even though she gets petted constantly and I'm constantly loving on her and her daddy's constantly loving on her. But we're just horrible, horrible human beings. We don't give her anything. So she's just gonna tear through and go run around on her own. And we open the car and thinking she's a good girl, open the door. But nope, she got caught. So that did not happen. And as punishment, I wanted to take her home. But Daddy's a lot nicer than I am, so we just take her to do some errands with us, like run by the post office. The only issue is Daddy goes in and leaves me out there with her, and I just get completely and utterly abused because she wants to get out and go see all these people that are walking by. And being the responsible parent, I'm like, no, you can't get out. You don't have a leash anymore. You ate through it, and there's not even enough of a nib for me to really hold on to now. And she's just back there throwing little fits over it and getting so ornery with me. Showing her little butt off. That's what she was doing. So when he got back in, I definitely wanted to take her home. Oh no, we got a couple more stops to make, and one of them included a few stores to find a leash for her, just so she could go on her walk. Even though I thought she should just go home, because she knew exactly what she was doing. Yeah, I understand that if it was anyone else's dog, I'd probably be saying, oh, she just didn't understand. Don't be so harsh on her. So, if you're thinking that, I 100% understand. But believe me, this dog is evil. I love her and she is evil as can be. Don't trust her. It's my own dog and I say don't trust her. She will freaking ruin you if you do anything that upsets her, or if you get blamed for anything that upset her. Such as someone not wanting to pet her, thus it's all your fault and you're just a horrible pet mommy. She was mad at me for 3 days because one person didn't pet her. This isn't even an exaggeration. I was just that horrible of a mommy because they didn't pet her. After everyone else had. But yeah, she's back on a horse lead now. And yes, you heard me right. Horse lead. Because that's the only thing she can't chew through faster than we can catch her doing. I have to keep my dog on a freaking horse lead. She's not even big enough to be considered a freaking horse. At least she doesn't eat the furniture anymore. When she was younger, still a little pupper, she actually ate our entertainment center and an antique dresser. And by ate, I mean she chewed freaking holes through it. Not chewed on the corners a little and it was still good and I'm just overreacting. No. She chewed holes through both of them. The entertainment center had more holes than wood. Looked more like freaking termite damage. But she was caught in the freaking act. She was a very aggressive chewer. But she did not like Nyla bones. Go figure. Now she has some, she gets raw hides daily. I know, not the best thing in the world, but wood isn't the best thing either. And that's what she'd be chewing on if I didn't give her that. And it was never just random sticks or anything. No, it was freaking furniture that she would chew on. So, have your pieces of cake skin and leave my furniture alone. Oh, but I am still kind of peeved about that, though. Taking her on this nice little ride and then gonna walk her around town, let her see the lights, maybe get some petting while people are still out and about. And she chews through her leash, so we have to make like 6 more stops. And can't just take her to do her little walkie walk. And we had to make 3 stops because we figured we'll just grab an El Cheapo one at the store. Yeah, they're El Cheapo ones. Well, pretty much all the stores we went to, except for Walmart, would have had nothing but toy breed size leashes, which would honestly be too short. I don't understand what the heck they're even used for because they are so thin that I could freaking rip them apart, but they're too short for a small dog to be walked by an average sized person. Seriously. People who create these things, what the hell? Can't you create them in the size where a normal person could walk without being slumped over or without dragging a toy breed around by the leash because the dog can't go 2 feet? It's just hanging up there by 2 feet? Man. It was just not a lovely day for me. I was looking forward to that walk, and I'm just so upset because that was an expensive leash. And it was so cute and matched her harness and everything. Because being cute matters when it's my puppy. And she eats it. Eats the bloody dang thing. And then she abuses me over it. I'm so tired of being the one to be blamed when she's a little butt. Honestly, people, do I ask for too much when I ask for my dog to not eat the chew-proof material? Because I don't like having to walk around a dog that's not even 80 pounds by a horse lead. Have you seen horse leads? They're pretty heavy and pretty thick. And it looks weird to walk something so small around with. And not to mention, I have to get her a new harness now because the main reason she no longer had her horse lead was because they don't fit the current harnesses. So I have to go get her another harness because she chewed through her last one. This is the first one she hasn't chewed through within a week, and she's just a butthole. I'm so upset with her. And I have nothing else to talk about. Because I don't know what the frick to talk about. I suck at this. I really do. Oh my god, I get it's a freaking preview file. I don't know how well y'all can actually hear the choice of music, but if you can't hear it too well, you may be on the freaking lucky side. I'm about ready to punch my computer. I'm getting so tired of hearing some of the things this stuff says. And the ads. I just want to have a little music playing in the background because I'm not the most interesting person in the world and I suck at just random talking, and I regret it. I regret it highly. Oh my god. I had people stream for hours on end. My arm's cramping up, and I've only been doing it a little over an hour. What's that? I've really been doing it. Yeah, a little over an hour. Crap. You know, I think I could use some refining in it, but this is kind of relaxing, just doing some basic blocked out shading on a sketch. Feels so much less complicated, and you don't feel as stressed out about composition or making it look perfect. Because I've said it before, but this isn't the style I really strive to have. I always strive to have a more realistic look. A hyper-realistic look, honestly, in my digital stuff, and it is just the most difficult thing I've ever attempted to do, is get to realism in this. I do fairly good with stylized painting in traditional mediums, but I always really admired the digital artists who could get that hyper-realism, and that's what I always strived for and always wanted, but I've never really been very good at achieving it, and I don't know, maybe because of what I had as an influence in my art style, which was, well, the original art from the MMO for WoW. It was kind of cartoony, really bright and vibrant colors that attracted me to it, and I think that just heavily influenced my actual art style to the point where I'm getting to realism is killing me. But because I still want to reach that level and maintain this slightly cartoon style I've developed, I plan to spend all of 2018 switching between different mediums and topics throughout each month to try and help me develop better skills. Like one month I'm going to focus more on composition, another month I'll focus on referencing figures and faces to get away from the cartoony and more towards the realistic look. But art is never finished. You're always learning. I'm not the best. I'll never be the best. But I want to be the best I can be, and my goal is to one day be able to create a piece that looks so good you almost think it is a photograph. I want to bring LB to life in something so realistic you look at it and think it's a photograph. That is my whole goal in art. Well, that and to make money and live off of it, because even the cartoony stuff, I enjoy doing it. This was always the career choice I wanted. I really wanted to be a game designer when I found out that it was a thing that I could do. I wanted to design concepts and stuff, but to have any chance of doing that, I would need to move, and it's not feasible for me to move to the places that I'd need to be in a position to get those kind of jobs. And I can't afford to get the art degree. All my finances have been tied up for years, and what was supposed to help me get into college actually ended up being the thing that prevented me from going. But that's more of a personal issue. I was actually accepted into an art college, but I couldn't go because financial issues, and I just have things that hold me back that I can't feasibly throw out the window and say screw it. Not without completely destroying my credit, which would ruin the chance of me ever getting a student loan. And that is where I end up. But I taught myself how to get to this point. Anything you've seen me done is 100% self-taught. With maybe a little bit of influence based off watching speed paints and other people work on stuff. Because I've looked at art books, none of them have ever spoke to me in a way that allowed me to really understand what to do and how to achieve it. In fact, I hate art books, especially the Learn How to Draw, where they're having you draw some stupid lines and shapes, and it's just making no correlation to me how these lines and shapes really become this. And that's why they don't work for me. They just don't explain it in such a way that I can understand it without looking at the book every single time. One of my first how to draw books was for drawing horses, and put a circle and a rectangle together to make the horse head. That just never clicked to me. It never made sense on how the heck that was supposed to make a horse head. I understand that shapes are you're supposed to break down the image into shapes and build off of those shapes, but the way the drawing books did it, they never explained why you use these shapes, or I don't know, it just never clicked for me. It just didn't work, and I ended up saying screw that and just teaching myself by looking at images, and I actually became a pretty good copycat artist, honestly. Though I don't really show much of that work because there was always a stigma behind copying other artists' stuff, and I didn't want to be accused of stealing when I was a 10-year-old just trying to learn how the frick to draw the female body. Because I couldn't figure out from anything other than watching people do it. So as they did it in sped up form, I would sit there and try to do it myself on paper. And that's how I was learning. YouTube was really helpful for me, and that's why now I always wanted to do speed paints. I wanted to show people what I did and how I did it, so I don't like it to be so fast that you can't keep up with it. Because I can't be the only person who learns that way. I'm sure other people learn that way too, and I may not be the best artist, but I am 100% self-taught. I am making money off doing this. And I'm really happy with it. I've developed my own style. I'm trying to improve with everything, and to me it's just the best thing in the world to be able to get up and draw. Just sit at home in my pajamas and just draw. I just enjoy drawings, period, even other people's stuff, which is why I'm really working as a commission artist, because even if you enjoy drawing, you don't always enjoy drawing other people's stuff, but I like drawing other people's stuff. I like seeing their creativity, and I like combining it with my style to bring it to life, and that stuff just interests me. So it's not for everyone. And, my hope is that I can hopefully make a little more than I'm making now, so I can keep doing this as a actual viable career option and get the money I need to survive, because as it is now, commission here, commission there, it's not quite enough. But it's a good starting point, and I'm happy to be making anything, because every commission I'm asked to do, every time I get paid, it's just more and more proof that I could do this. Because someone is sitting there paying me to do it. They want me to do it. They like my style enough to give me their hard-earned money. And honestly, I wish I could do it for free. I wish I could just draw whatever people wanted just for free, no money needed. I'm sure there's many people that would love that too, but sadly I need income because I like living. I don't ask for much in life, but I like being able to pay my bills and buy food and pay the bills that I inherited. I'm just a simple person, though. No fun, meh. I think the most expensive thing I've ever really wanted was this kind of art tablet, and again, till I got it professionally, I had no idea there was anything besides a Cintiq that would give me a drawing monitor, and I'm perfectly happy with an off-brand. Nothing wrong with that. It works as needed, and it is as intended. I'm good, I'm happy. I'm happy, happy, happy. I never needed much. Which is the way you have to be when you don't have much money to begin with, but yeah. I'm just a simple person. I like being simple and not needing much. Too much stuff gets cluttered. And I will admit, now I've become an artist, there's a couple things I really do want. And they all have to do with art. The idea of making buttons is surprisingly appealing to me. I want a laminator and a printer so I can do badge art, because I actually do enjoy doing badge art, as funny as that may sound. I'm just an odd person, though. Yeah, let's see. Let me see, I did want the printer, that was no actual joke, I do want my own printer. So I can also sell prints cheaper. Because I think $10 is a very fair price, honestly, but I wouldn't have to charge for shipping and stuff if I wouldn't have to charge as much for shipping if I could do it myself, so I could still charge $10 for the print and only charge like $1 for shipping rather than $3 to $5, since the money I'm saving on getting them printed professionally would be saved, and because I'm printing them myself, allowing me to take more of a bite out of how much it costs to actually ship the item. And if you don't know what I mean by prints, go check out my store Envy. It's down in the description box. I get my prints done locally and support a local business, at least. A local printing shop that a family member used to work at. So I get them to do it, and they give me a slight price break for the higher quality prints, because they, my grandmother worked there for so many years. I don't expect them to do that forever, but it was nice for just getting started. And it's nice to be able to go somewhere where they'll give me their honest opinion. I've actually sold some of my prints to them too. I also sell my prints in up close to people, usually through the local museum here in town, because they get a percentage of the profit, but I really do like this museum and I like supporting them. So I'm okay with sharing my profits with them, and I try to go to art craft shows and trade shows and stuff to sell them. I attempt to sell them through Facebook groups, but there's just so many artists online, it's hard to get a bite. It's not highly valued. And when it is valued, I'm not even joking when I say a canvas that cost $50 to buy, no one's willing to pay more than $30 for it, even though it's got the most beautiful, realistic looking painting on it I've ever seen. I mean, it was a lovely farm scene, and everyone liked it and they wanted it, but no one wanted to pay the $100 they were asking for just to make up for the cost of materials. Because this was a pretty big canvas. And it's just like, come the frick on, you bastards. The canvas alone is huge and costs at least $30 even on sale. It's got a really nice frame that person had made for it too, because it was such a big thing. And no one's wanting to pay. And it was just so frustrating to me, because the artists had some really good work and they were not asking for much for anything. But everyone is just so cheap in this area and didn't want to pay. What kills me though is photographers seem to make a killing here. Oh yeah, photographers. $500 for a not spectacular picture printed on canvas. How something like that sells, but a super realistic looking painting where you can actually see brush strokes and detail doesn't? Ugh. I was just so upset by that personally, because I have nothing against photographers. One of my dear friends is a photographer and she takes some beautiful pictures, but if this amazing painter can't even, when she's already selling it for material cost only, it's just so... People will say how they hate seeing artists get lowballed and stuff, but they have to freaking lowball themselves sometimes just to make a sale, even though they have some pretty amazing art. And some of them just do it out of the love of the freaking painting, and they can't even make back what they put in materials. And having some idea of how much materials cost, it's just infuriating to me, because I had to find a large canvas like that for a commission that I was doing. And before I even started working on the commission, it was already agreed on that the commissioner would pay $200 for the labor, and then would pay for all of the material cost. Because he wanted this huge, freaking huge canvas. And there was no way for me to properly gauge how much I would need in paints and stuff. So he would go buy the paints and bring them to me and buy the canvas. And so far I've already sunk like 12 hours into it, so 200 is probably really lowballing it myself, because I'm nowhere near done, but at least all the material cost is covered. I mean, at least I don't have to worry about covering the material costs myself. Which is helpful in and of itself. God. I'm just now realizing this dragon has changed color like 6 times. I think when I originally started, it was supposed to be one of the black dragon whelps. And now it's green with red horns. No, it was the Onyxian whelp when I first started. Because the first time it appeared was in the holiday special I did years back for the blog. Elfie's design its overall has not changed, but her poor little baby dragon, I can't seem to decide what color it's gonna be. I don't know, maybe she just has a shit ton of dragons. That's always possible. Everyone loves dragons. Everyone loves dragons. Dragons are nice. Dragons are cool. Up and down, up and down. God, I'm starting to feel like a bubblehead. I don't know why, but my head likes to move when I have to go up and down a lot. I don't know, does anyone else do that? Am I just nuts? It's okay to just say I'm nuts. I won't blame you, I promise. I think I'm nuts. I think I'm frickin' cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, honestly. And that's okay. I can be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs all I want. In this day and age, I can be whatever I want and no one's allowed to complain. Because no one's allowed to be offended by anything. Except for those that seem to be special. I'm not completely sure why. I don't understand modern society. I am already socially awkward. I don't understand anything. But I especially don't understand society nowadays. Look on my little Alice in Wonderland picture that I created for no reason at all, other than just randomness. Because that's all I do is random. I'm your friendly random person. Well, I'm usually friendly. I've been told by some people that I'm a complete another couple of things, but to each their own. Let's see. It needs a bright pink sky. Because, yeah, that makes sense. Pink and green's always cool. And pinks and brown is popular, I think. I don't know, what's the new pink now? Anyone? Seriously, I can't keep up with this shit anymore. Keeping up with fashion hurts my head. If you keep up with fashion, I don't know how you do it. The idea of keeping up with any of it's just painful. Yeah. There's something about a big brush. It's just so fat. Just so wonderful, even though I have to turn around and go back over everything. And erase where it went over. It's just so nice to be able to make one quick swoop over and there it all is. I applied everything in one foul swoop and it's nice. Even though I never get to do that, really. It's never one foul swoop. It's many, many thousands of swoops and a little bit of tears. That's okay. This is art. I'll feed off my tears. I sell my tears for money. You could probably make a very lucrative business off selling artist tears and fandom tears. The tears of fandoms. Tears of artists. Very often these two coexist as one. Because artists are in just about every freaking fandom there is. Because we seem to be some of the most nerdy people imaginable. I like being nerdy though, so anyone who doesn't like it can bite me. I like being me. Me is fun. Strange and a little stupid, but fun. Nothing wrong with being me. Just staring at the painting, thinking to myself, what the frick can I do to screw it up now? So this looks like some kind of bad song, or worse, an abstract painting. I don't even like abstract paintings. Nothing wrong with people that do it. I've made a friend on Twitter who does it, and she does some really nice paintings. It just never appealed to me personally. Each their own though. I'm gonna mute for just a moment because it's about time for the school bus and there's gonna be a lot of barking.